people who consume like a tremendous amount of coffee. It's like data from Sweden, or if people are consuming like 8 cups of coffee a day, it's probably the case that any links with pregnancy loss are just driven by nausea. So people who are really nauseous don't drink coffee, and that's also correlated with lower risks of miscarriage. There's a lot of stuff going on in the data, but the bottom line is that some coffee is totally fine.
Well, okay. You can't eat sushi while pregnant.
Also not true.
How do people come up with this stuff then?
So sushi is, you can get foodborne illness from sushi. Uncooked fish is more dangerous than cooked fish. Is just like that, but that's always true. And it is not more true during pregnancies. This is something I sort of talk a lot about is thinking about, okay, you should generally think about trying to avoid the norovirus from your sushi. And you should be thinking about that when you're not pregnant and when you're pregnant. There's no particular risk to sushi during pregnancy.
Okay. You can't get Botox while pregnant or breastfeeding.
Okay, Botox. This is the number one question people ask me.
Really?
On Instagram.
No
yes,
way.
this is like the number one question, which is amazing.
That's fascinating.
I know. It's only started like in the last 5. I've been doing.
What was it before that? Something really sincere.
It was much more like coffee. No, it's always lifestyle stuff, but like Botox, like really, people are really into Botox. Yeah. So you're not going to be able to find someone to get you to do your Botox when you are pregnant, although there is no evidence that it would be dangerous. It's just like no one's going to do that. During breastfeeding, it is fine. The Botox doesn't go into your milk, and you can do it if you want to have your Botox. I always tell people that your face looks great. You don't need Botox. People are like, "Oh my God, thank you." So then they're like, "Oh, but what about GLP-1s?" That's their next question.
What's the take on that?
So you shouldn't be on a GLP-1 when you're pregnant because that's not a time for weight loss. But during breastfeeding, generally, if you're sort of early on in breastfeeding and the supply is still being established, being on a GLP-1 can lower your breast milk supply. And so that is probably a reason to avoid it. But if you're later in breastfeeding, there's actually good evidence that they don't pass through to the milk. So if people want to go back on their GLP-1, it should be fine.
All right. I think this one's a big one.
Okay. Okay. We have some milk here.
We have breast milk or formula. Does it make a difference?
Both are great options. There are some small short-term benefits to breastfeeding, lower risk of gastrointestinal illness, some slightly lower risk of eczema, but a lot of these like long-term things people are told, like breast milk makes your kid smarter or thinner, they can fly or whatever. That stuff is all correlation, not causation. So both of these options are very good ones.
Are there any negatives for formula?
I mean, I guess that you could sort of say, well, if breast milk lowers the risk of gastrointestinal infections, formula raises it. Depends what you're thinking about as your baseline. But I think in that comparison,